Hi, I'm Jackie Brenda from Smelly Dog, and this is Yappy Hour with Jackie. Today I have Alex, and he's from Grand Canyon Brewing and Distillery. And so today we are tasting some of their new vodka sodas and just talking about the local Grand Canyon Brewery and Distillery and tasting some happy hour drinks. And then for our dog drink today, since vodka is a Russian spirit. So our doggy drink today is an orange agave Samoyed Soda. So Samoyeds are a Russian dog. And we thought that would be a fun cocktail for our doggies to drink. Hi, welcome, Alex. Thanks for being on today.
Thank you for having me, Jackie.
Yeah. Well, so, okay, who's with you? Introduce your pup to us.
Okay, I have Toffee with me right here. Oh, say hi. No, she just wants me. Uh, she's our fourth adopted puppers. She's real shy, but she's very sweet and quiet, so we like her.
Is she a little Chihuahua or maybe a Chihuahua Terrier mix?
Yeah, she is. Look at her. She's a little Jack Russell Chihuahua. She's very adorable.
She is adorable, and she has the head of the Chihuahua, but
Yeah.
the coloring and looks like the hair maybe of a.
Yeah, and she has that like wide backside that they do too. The Jack Russells, like the big, like she's not fat, but it's just wide back there.
Yeah, close to the ground.
Yeah.
Well, and I have a Boston Terrier, so this is Penny.
Oh my goodness, look how cute he is.
Yes, hello. Yes, say hello to everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to Yappy Hour. So Penny loves Yappy Hour because she loves to taste it. So I have the doggy mocktail up here. So let Penny taste it. Huh? First wants to taste? She gets shy. She just tasted before we went on, and she was like, "Oh, that is good." But now on camera, you don't want to drink it on camera, huh? Do you want to try it? Okay, we'll try it later. All right. So Alex. Let's go ahead and crack open. We have two of the vodka sodas. So these are new from your distillery, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so why don't we start with the prickly pear? I'm so excited. This sounds like really fun flavors. This is a prickly pear vodka, and it's mixed with soda. So it's carbonated water and your vodka. And so let's crack these open. And then we can talk while we taste. All right. So cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Sorry, the camera delay is a little weird on my end.
All right. So tell me, let's start with just the Grand Canyon Brewery and Distillery. Tell me how it came about. How did it start?
Being brought to another dog. Jeez.
We have another pup joining us for Yappy Hour.
This is Rollo. He's sweet. He's our newest. Yeah, he's our newest one.
Like a Rollo.
Yeah, they're all named after candies that they kind of look or act like. It's what the kids.
And he's also a little Chihuahua.
Yeah, I don't know what he looks like a little.
Terrier?
Yeah, he looks like a little mini pin or something like that. He's got a lot of energy. I'll tell you that.
I bet.
He's also the youngest. So
we love us a terrier. It's Smelly Dog.
For sure. I love these little dogs.
So your partner John started it up 2007, and in 2013 brought you in to kind of give it some because you're the marketing, you're the director of sales and marketing.
Yeah, I just kind of started with John reading Rich Dad Poor Dad while he was in the Navy, and then chomping at the bit to get to work when he got out. And then I was just kind of in between. Well, I had a job, but I was in between careers. I was really set on beer. I was really set on being a part of a brewery. I didn't really know how to be. And then I ran into John and then, forced my way into that. So.
So then a love of beer is what brought you in.
Absolutely. Fermentation science, which ultimately and most of the time results in alcohol. Sometimes it's sauerkraut or kimchi, but fermentation science usually renders us delicious beverage and then sometimes delicious food. So I've had a real interest in it since I was about 19, 17.
Nice. Well, So Penny is finally into the Yappy Hour drink. She was
awesome.
lapping that that down if you heard the heard the lapping while you were talking. That wasn't me, that was Penny. But I am lapping down this. Okay, so tell me about what went into deciding about, it looks like you have 2 different vodkas that you do. You do the prickly pear vodka and you do the orange blossom vodka. So why those particular flavors?
Well, so we wanted a few things. We just kind of wanted to come out the gate knowing what we wanted, what our approach was, and what our identity was. And with that, one of my favorite things other than fermentation science is Arizona. Whether it be the 5 C's or the flavors that we get out of the ground. You know, I originally moved to Phoenix to go to SCI, Le Cordon Bleu Culinary Institute.
Yeah.
And that the flavors between alcohol drinks and food and what you can get out of like specifically the part of the Sonoran Desert we share, that's really a small portion of, you know, of it available in the US. I think that Arizona just has this unique multi-leveled microclimates of what's possible. Like, for instance, we get all of our grain from whiskeys from Arizona farms. So
well, that's amazing. So you take local produce and then you ferment it, turn it into another local product, and then you also sell at local independent retailers, correct?
Yeah, we tried to, I mean, that's what's built our brand. You know, I don't have national accounts all across the country or in major chains or anything like that very heavily. So I have to rely on independent business owners, restaurateurs, convenience store owners. And there's some of the greatest, most ambitious and fun and really smart people in the state. You really get to know the people that live with you as your neighbors. I travel all over the state, so I kind of feel like I live everywhere in Arizona simultaneously, even though there's kind of like 3 very distinct regions. But I love meeting these people and seeing like what they're bringing to Arizona and like what their ideas are and like how they integrate our products into like their brand management and stuff like that. So it's definitely, involving myself in local purveyors is a huge part of my love of Arizona, and then a huge part of my love of local commerce in general. So.
Well, very cool. Well, I was excited when I saw the flavors because, of course, prickly pear cactus you see everywhere in Arizona. So using the agave, I assume, from that?
So we actually use the prickly pear fruit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so the way we do these flavors is, so maceration is usually how you get a flavor for like gin. You just kind of, it's a fancy way of saying you just throw kind of vegetation into a pot, you make it really hot, it sweats, it kind of drips up, and then you blend it with water, and then you have this natural flavoring that you can add into the products. And that's kind of how we do everything up north. We're 100% grain to glass. We don't use pre-made ethanol. We make it all from scratch, all of our flavors. If we could source everything from Arizona, we would, but we're by far and large the largest distillery here in the state, and we would eliminate an entire season statewide of prickly pear in our first run, right? So we source, like I said, for the whiskeys, everything from Arizona, and we buy our products and then make it in Arizona when we can.
Okay, so my audience knows all that snorting that you hear in the background, that's Penny as she's snarfing down her cocktail. Her short little nose makes her snort a lot, don't you, Penny? Yes, always that yummy. Okay, so let's let Alex continue. So now vodka then, I think it's traditionally made with potatoes. Do you use potatoes in your vodka?
We do not. We make everything from grain. So it does give our base vodka a bit of a different kind of aroma and taste. It's a little more sweet in nature. It's the brand, our liquor was built for cocktails. Like that's how we kind of approached it, is we wanted a strong liquor brand that didn't sit in the well, but was like made for cocktail menus and stuff like that. So the inherent sweetness of our base vodka, when we mix it with our macerated blends, does give it this incredibly well-balanced and perceived sweetness too, because you have to keep in mind that these have no sugar in them.
Well, that's what I wanted you to inform me about, my honest, because I think when I read on your website, it's not sweetened, right? But it does have a sweet flavor to it. So that's just naturally from the prickly pear, I take it.
Yeah, and of the two, the prickly pear is less perceivably sweet. So like when you jump into the orange blossom, that is gonna taste like an orange creamsicle or a dreamsicle.
Okay.
And this is on the perceived sweetness way, because of just the nature of prickly pear, is way more dialed back.
Well, let's do it. So,
Yeah.
so I like it. The prickly pear vodka soda. Now it's different than, because it is a vodka soda as compared to, there's a lot of carbonated drinks on the market right now. And they're very
seltzers.
popular to sip, out by the pool. And this one's a little bit different, I think, because it's vodka. Is that?
Yeah. And great question, because I don't get this one enough. Like White Claw and Truly and all the seltzers out there, those are malt based. And so they're technically beer. And yeah. And I'm not the hugest fan of them.
Whereas what is this characterized as?
That's a canned cocktail, because it's 2 ingredients. It's our vodka and carbonated water. And we're actually in the development of 4 more canned cocktail brands. And the idea is to use as few ingredients as possible. A liquor base, a mixer. So we're doing like a rum and coke, a gin and tonic. We'll do some vodka mules. Those will be like 3 ingredients.
I love it. And I love the idea of simple, few ingredients. That's our whole philosophy at Smelly Dog with our treats and dog food. I talk a lot about healthy dog food. And on my podcast and in the store, educating people about, you want to make sure that you know what's in food. You need to be able to pronounce those ingredients and know where they come from, what they are. And, the fewer ingredients you can do, the purer it is, more pure it is. So I love that. And also I love that I don't feel like this needs to be sweetened. It tastes great and there's no sweetener. And I would also think that that's lower in calories, since there's no sugar. 98
calories, 0 sugar, 0 carbs. It's ideal.
And then, nice.
Yeah, just to harp on the difference real quick one more time before I kind of jump in, is what's great, like you said, fewer ingredients, more pronounceable things. The byproducts that are made and converting basically Belgian sugar into a seltzer is not exactly the process your body is the most desired to do. But also on the access to market, I pay an incredibly higher tax rate per 4-pack than they do. Like I pay 3 times as much per 4-pack in taxes as they do per 12-pack.
Now, why is that?
Beer versus liquor taxes.
Oh.
So that's why it got popular, I would guess. I mean, the big boys are going to do what the big boys are going to do, but a lot of smaller guys started cranking out seltzers. And I would have to assume that it's because you can get close to the canned cocktail game and you're taxed at almost a negligible rate.
Okay, I got you. So that's why you do the 4-packs.
Well, no, we do the 4-packs because they're 7% cocktails, but we did a lot of modeling of our brand and our approach to it off a very popular canned cocktail brand that me and my partner John had fallen in love with, traveling across the country, going to Craft Brewers Conference, going to JBF, making business trips. We loved grabbing a 4-pack of canned cocktails, 1 or 2 of them, going back to the hotel. That was like one of my favorite memories of growing the Grand Canyon beer brand, was doing all of that.
Yeah.
You get beered out after a while when you're traveling like that. So we'd grab the canned cocktails. And so we wanted to kind of model after that successful business model. And we chose the 4-packs for that reason. And plus, if we sell a 6-pack at the rate liquor's taxed at, I mean, it's sticker shock to a lot of people, and you don't want to do that.
Well, that's what I figured. So the 4-pack at that price point is still desirable for our consumer.
Yeah, it's desirable, and like I'll nerd on sales a little bit. Like when I approach sales, I want, I have a target, and then I want our fans to get it. But a lot of what I'm trying to do is speak to impulse buyers, and the last thing I want an impulse buyer to do is get caught up in price. Sure. So I try to provide the whole point of our liquor brand was I want a premium liquid, period, at just like a regular call price. Like that's what I'd like to see. I hate overpaying for alcohol, and there's just so much out there. I mean, make the liquid speak.
Much.
Yeah, make the liquid speak. A lot of great salespeople have sold a lot of bad products, and I just, I'm not that great at sales, so I just.
So then, would you say that your goal then is, or what I'm hearing is that you want to put out a quality product at an affordable price, that people are going to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And that speaks to you being local here to Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I want, yeah, just like you said, I want a product that, is enticing, that's affordable, that's good quality. And, and lastly, I just, I want something that you want to take and share with your friends. It's a
Well, and I
big,
will say, I do like the graphics.
well, that's
Um,
Kevin's done a lot of great work. We actually have a brand update coming. It still looks very similar, but, our graphic designer Kevin, he's done a great job with all of our stuff. He's very good. He's doing all of our beer rebranding right now, and he's fully
oh, I like it.
responsible for
It's
the
very attractive, and it really, I think, on the shelf, I
yes,
think it'll grab your eye. I like the monotone, but
yeah.
so the pink and purple and the orange and yellow. So let's crack open the orange blossom
Yes.
and
Let's
give it a taste. So I talked recently. I did another one with the brewmance guys, and I talked about I love beer. Now this isn't beer. This
love
is
the
a
beverage.
cocktail, but the crack of the sound it makes, and just the fuzziness when you first drink it. I like to smell it.
Yeah, assuredly.
Definitely smell orange. This smells like an orange sickle. So all of those fans out there of orange sickles, those popsicles, definitely smells like that.
Yeah, it's it blows my mind sometimes. I always tell
Wow. So
people,
this one really hit me. This one packs a punch.
yeah, like I said, the sweetness is a lot more perceived there because it has that kind of like orange creamsicle kind of aspect to it.
Uh-huh.
Little bit of vanilla, definitely a lot of orange in there. Orange Blossom is, a pretty well-known flavor in Arizona. Um,
Well,
you know,
sure. Orange trees are everywhere.
yeah, I
We
was
have a
just
whole
say
row of
anywhere in
them at our house.
Scottsdale, if you go running in Scottsdale, you're basically familiar with the smell. There were parts of Phoenix I used to live in when I was younger that would smell like it all the time when you're out running over there by and Candle Park used to really have like a big orange blossom kind of scent to it
Mhm.
when you'd run by on the sidewalks and stuff like that.
Okay, so let's talk about this orange blossom. Love the smell, and I am a sucker for orange blossom. I love orange. No one can ever accuse me of having scurvy because boy, do I love my citrus fruits. So let's see here. So
Yeah,
yes, they're very different. Um, if I had, even though I love orange blossom, if I had to vote, I would say my favorite is prickly pear. I think it is very easy drinking. Um, and then the orange blossom, it's very good as well, a little sweeter, like what you're saying. And I feel like, and they have the same amount of alcohol, right? Both of them do.
yeah, they're both 7%.
Okay, because to me, it seems like the orange blossom really packs more of that vodka punch.
Yeah, yeah. And again, that might be coming from like the orange zest, or depending upon how your palate picks up ethanol and stuff like that. I always tell people, and I didn't want to say it to you ahead of time, but no one likes both of these. I mean, I kind of do because they're my children.
Yeah.
But usually people are like, I like this one. And I'm fine with that. I'm not, not everyone needs to buy both of everything. I am personally a bigger fan of the prickly pear myself. I like my sweetness a little more subtle.
Yeah.
Um, I
Well, I
am,
think I'm the same way. I like
I'm a
I'm not a
Negroni
big
cocktail kind of guy.
yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Um but I think I think they're both good, and I think they're both very creative, and I love the idea that I can shop, and I hope my audience too loves the idea about, oh my gosh, we need something refreshing that's not just beer, that we can sit by the pool. If right now it's quarantine time, if people are creating a little bubble of friends that they can trust and want to do something like a pool party or a virtual, where you just have,
Mhm.
6 or 8 people, I think this would be a great thing to do right now, and something that you can feel good about supporting a local business that also supports other local businesses. So tell me, where's the best place that people can buy, and how can they buy it?
Well, honestly, back to what you were saying about locals and supporting, what I always say is your local liquor store is probably the best place to buy it. For liquor, we have the largest liquor distributor in the state, Breakthrough Beverage. They're statewide. So no account should have a problem getting it in within a couple days if requested. We do have our beer finder on our website. So if you go to grandcanyonbrewery.com, there's a button that says Find Our Beer. You click it. There's a little radial button. It has all of our products on there already listed. You don't even got to guess. Pick the one you like, put in your zip code.
So easy.
It's updated every 48 hours. So unless something sells out fast, you're usually pretty good to catch it. Again, I just went out and bought a video game for my kid yesterday, and I was going to go to GameStop, and a buddy of mine was like, actually, there's this mom and pop just, a couple blocks over by my place, and local commerce is important to me. So I grabbed my car and I went over there and I bought it. So I would always recommend that if you have a corner liquor store, if you have a place where you pick up your stuff, I'd start there. I'd ask them to bring it in. I mean, that tremendously helps me, gives me another account, but ultimately, we do this so we can put it in people's hands. I just want that to be the easiest transaction possible. Yeah. So I don't want you to go hunt it down.
So before someone thinks about going to, say, somewhere like Total Wine and More or Bevmo or something like that, not that those aren't great places, but think about supporting your local business, because those are the places that are struggling the hardest right now. And two, I think most of those will deliver right to your door.
Yeah, I mean,
my local places do.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of local creativity getting out, and I've seen a huge uptick. There's actually a business in Mesa that became our number one account for these two brands because they sell them to go, and they like them a lot, and they try to feature them when they talk to people. But they've literally gone out of their way to try to make that more of a to-go brand for people. And honestly, I mean, my own opinions aside, like, yeah, when you get up by the pool, like maybe you don't want to drink. I love beer, but I don't want to sit there and drink like 4 or 5 IPAs out in the sun. Something a little more compact, and then it's 7%, so it gives you a little bit of a bigger hit while you're out at the pool. You're not trying to pack in 3 beers or more calories. It's just for me, like, especially right here in the middle of the summer, it really, really does speak to me.
Yeah. Hey, hydrate, right? It has water in it.
Says it right there.
And also, I will say, I think for people, because 7%, you're right, that's a little bit, that's a high percentage for a can. So if it's a little too much for somebody, they could always take the vodka soda, and especially like the orange blossom, I think would be a really good mix with like a lemonade. So if you had like a lemonade, you can, if the alcohol content is too high, you could always mix it with even like a sparkling lemonade or something like that.
That's amazingly on point. I was going to tell you, speaking of citrus, one of the 5 C's of Arizona, if coming out of the can, like some people are like, it needs just something, a slice of lemon. I've played around with that. I mean, once you've worked it anywhere too long, you start to modify everything. So we tried, like, I tried limes. That didn't give me the kick I was looking for, but yeah, just a little slice of lemon. I throw it in there, and just that citrus kicked it up enough, and gave it a little bit of a different kind of like more, I don't know, a little tartar than the sweetness in there. Like I like to do it with the orange blossom because it's a little over sweet. But yeah, like you said, if the alcohol content's a little too much, just any sort of citrus with these citrus-based drinks is really helpful. So yeah, right on the money with that.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, you want to talk about cocktails or whatever? That's why we have Yappy Hour with Jackie. I can, or you want some ideas about mixing some citrus? I'm the girl. So I think the orange blossom would go great with lemonade, or maybe even some grapefruit. Go great with that. And the prickly pear, it is just not. It's just a nice amount of sweet, but not overly sweet at all. What are your thoughts on what flavors would you mix the prickly pear with?
Well, the prickly pear I've done with a slice of lemon, and usually, I don't know, like prickly pear is something I don't engage in quite enough to kind of get burnt out on it. Mm-hmm. If I were going to guess anything, you can pick up some prickly pear syrup at like a local store pretty easily.
Oh yeah, the agave. The prickly pear agave nectar, which is what I suggested to put in the doggy drink.
Yeah. Exactly that. So we use that in a lot of our prickly pear cocktails, but even just a little Pellegrino and a little bit of that mixed in with the...
You know what? To me, I think it would go really well with cherry.
I've not tried that. That sounds interesting.
That's what the smell and the flavor to me. I think this, if you have some sort of like black cherry, flavored water, like sparkling water. You know, there's all kinds of flavors of sparkling water. So if you wanted to cut it, you could, that's what I would go with. I would go with like a cherry. I think that would be really good.
Yeah.
Well, great. Okay. So now I want to hear, Alex, about during quarantine times. All right. Tell me what you've been up to. So I know you have dogs. You have 5 dogs, right?
That's correct.
And you also have a family of humans too, correct?
Yes.
Just 2 of those. You have children, you have human children and fur babies. So tell me what you've been up
to. Been learning how to work out of my home office a little more. But primarily I've been trying to convert the backyard into some gardening space. I started by building a composter and then it just kind of got out of control from there. I wanted to, because I make my own dog food, I wanted to kind of get to this like 360 zero waste place in my home for food. I'm inexorably tied to food my entire life. Wasting it bothers me to no end.
I love that. So you started with composting and then that moved into gardening.
Yes. Well, it started with making my own dog food.
Okay.
Honestly. And then
well, we'll have to talk. Well, we might have to have a whole nother Zoom about that. So if you have any questions for dog food or anything,
I mean, I always
tap
do.
My brain.
Basically, I'm very clear on what I'm not allowed to feed my dog, and that's about where my expertise ends.
Well, you need to listen to my podcast. I have a couple of them just about nutrition. So
perfect.
Start there.
I love podcasts, so that'll have to get added to the list for sure.
Yeah, you're gonna I think you'll really enjoy it. Someone who understands the value of simple ingredients and whole foods and natural foods and fresh foods. And so how what's on the dog food market today is the exact opposite of all of those things that I just said. So correct. How to incorporate those things into your dog's daily diet is just what you eat makes you. Same for the dog.
Yeah, we me and the wife have been struggling. Like, I mean, with 5 dogs, and they're all rescues. And when one comes out of a shelter, you got to kind of like, convert their food and
right.
Just this whole process of doing that over time, and dog food gets expensive.
It is,
and it really is cheaper if you make it. It really, really is.
Packaged dog food, dry dog food. There's some problems with it, and as being an entire holistic diet for a dog. So more and more people are getting that and understanding how dry food that is processed to the level that it's processed at, and the ingredients and where they come from. All of that stuff matters. So the more awareness we can give people, the better. And I always say at Samoyed Dog, we're not about, you don't have to just change everything, but can you add a little bit of fresh food? Start with that. What can you do? I will tell you pretty much any budget. And also you work with your independent local pet food store. They're the ones who know how to tell you, okay, what are you feeding your dog? This is how much we know how to calculate how much food you need to be feeding. Okay, what are you feeding now? Can we get something similar that's a little more natural and doesn't have some bad ingredients in it? And then can we add some fresh ingredients to that still can work within your budget? What can we do to just start a little bit? And even if you can only do a little bit, that's better than nothing, right?
For sure, 100%. And like you were saying, like, it's not just one person, it's all of them. I know that no one cares what my dogs are eating more than I do. And I know that when I make my dog food, I if anything goes wrong, I know exactly what they ate. I know what was in it. It gives me more control. Like before, like when we had, like, they were just so sleepy. They were like cats. They still kind of are, but like they definitely have more energy now. They're definitely, happier Chihuahuas, and it's a better time. And then that, inexorably led me to quarantine time. And with a cooking background, I obviously dialed into the sourdough starter immediately. Started baking bread at home.
You know what's funny about that? Oh my gosh, my whole growing up. So my mother, she's amazing. I haven't talked about my mom a lot on my podcast or in my stories, but she is an amazing cook, home cook. She cooks everything and she's a great baker. But my whole life, she always had this sourdough starter. And she's made sourdough bread my entire life. And I cannot tell you, so many people are doing that right now. And I'm like, it really takes commitment. You have to, there's so many days you have to go, and then you have to split it, and you either have to throw away or give it away if you can find someone to take the commitment and take it, and then you have to feed it. It is a commitment. It is like having a pet, is at least a plant. I think it's more needy than a plant, maybe less needy than a pet, but it takes commitment.
Yeah, it's like a house plant that feeds you eventually.
Yeah, it's the best. But boy, does it make some tasty bread, doesn't it?
It really does. And yeah, it's like you said, it's definitely a hardcore commitment. It took me a few tries. I mean, I've baked sourdough before. I've worked with sourdough for years. I've never had to be responsible for the person to like do all of the work or like anything other than just like make it in a shape and throw it in an oven. So the first couple batches I had to throw out for sure.
It's
just trial and error. Like I was like, oh, not tap water from Mesa. Okay. And then I was like, oh, probably
quality, like what you would put into your brew, right?
And I knew better. I was just like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, well, because the idea is to infect it. But then I forget what is in city water entirely. I mean, I haven't drank city water in 15 years, so I probably shouldn't have given it to my sourdough. So
right.
that kind of got me thinking. And I, old man Alex has always been a farmer at heart. So I keep looking out here because it's where my garden is. Keep looking.
And so what are you growing in the garden?
So luckily for me, there's another beer guy that's my neighbor that's been doing it for a while. So I know, so we live in the same microclimate, so I know it works. And so green beans, every type of lettuce, kale is really good. If you don't eat it, it's at least good for just like tomato plants, shading your other plants. But I'm trying to focus on zucchini, tomato, peppers, and green beans right now.
Ooh, I know you can grow some good peppers in this climate.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. I've just, due to like some dietary issues, I wasn't able to eat spicy food until like 10 years ago. So I'm like really, really into it now. And I like to make salsa and stuff like that. And a lot of where this comes from is like other things I've been doing in the past. Like I used to go and there'd be these places like, we're going to throw all this food away if you don't come get it. And I would like go there at the end of the day and like, they just have these sad boxes with like the rest of the tomatoes and peppers and whatever.
Yeah.
And so I take that home, make salsa. And so,
well, a very good friend of mine is a very serious home gardener and has been for years, not just because of quarantine, has been for years. I tell you, he grows tomatillos, and he lives in Scottsdale, and they are so tasty. I mean, he literally will pick one off the bush and wash it and just eat, and it's delicious.
That's amazing. But yeah, I started this compost, which was kind of dumb. But I'll tell you, the funny part of COVID, I guess, is that with all my restaurants closed down and everything going bad 2 weeks at a time, that thing got filled up pretty quick. And I was able to get a lot of yard work done. So it's full now. It's currently full. Got it in, we call like beer and stuff terminal when it's like ready. So I would say it's terminal, like it's like the nitrogen and the carbon are mixing. And so I'll fill it up. Like I filled it up last week with a bunch of leaves, some more coffee grounds and eggs, and leftover watermelon rind and cauliflower stems or whatever goes in there. And then I come out and it's down halfway this morning. I was like, that's beautiful. So I throw more leaves in there.
So you mean it's already decomposed?
Well, what happens is, I mean, everything takes up a lot of volume, but once like heat and decay and stuff start to wear and everything starts to shrink, and
right,
it's that nitrogen carbon kind of mixture that kind of like starts the breakdown process. So yeah. I'm seeing significant breakdowns over weeks on end, and so we're really excited.
Making some really good soil that will be nutrient dense for whatever you plan to plant in the future.
Yeah, and it'll be nice because it's like dirt that was like literally made from things from my home.
Yeah.
We've also, in the meantime, instituted family movie and game nights. So we do spend a lot of time with the kid, but And then now with all this extra time, like we instituted like family game night, family movie night. And then it was just like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'll just do my art stuff. I don't need you guys that much. Please stop.
Right. Like
And so
she's ready to social distance from
it's
her
just a
parents.
nice time to have a child who's not very interested in wanting to hang out all the time. It's a good time for
Yeah.
that.
So tell me, what are the best games that you're finding right now? I'm always looking for new games to play here to keep us entertained.
Catan is a long, old favorite of mine from high school and college. I introduced the wife and kid to that very recently. They enjoy it very much.
I'm not familiar.
It's basically a very it's a dumbed down version of Monopoly where you trade and collect like natural resources and like build roads. It sounds
Okay.
boring when I talk about it, but
Anything that goes faster. I love Monopoly, but it's such a long game.
And you lose a lot of friends because capitalism is inherently the base of that game, and not something you want to do with your close friends, when you're in a hurry. But Catan's cool because it's more based on like accruing resources naturally, and then the fun part of the game is like you really do kind of need to trade to make it work.
Yeah.
And so you do
if
want
you're
to
doing
win.
a bartering system.
You do want to win, but you also
so is
don't
that Catan K with a K? K-A-T-O-N?
C-A-N or C-A-T-A-N, Catan.
What kind of parent are you when you're playing games? Are you the like, I'm going to let you win? Or are you the like, nah, I'm going to play you and I'm going to make you better and tougher?
Well, this is a family of champions. So we, the kid got surprised the first time she wanted to pull up on me on Mario Kart. Like I get when you're a kid and your parents always beat you at board games. You're like, okay. But she one day was like, oh, you're going to pull up on Mario Kart? Okay. And I let her have it. But that's it.
It's a fine line. It's a fine line between where do you draw the line about, okay, I've got to let them understand you got to put the work in. Nothing's given to you. But then there's a line there between, okay, I can't just demolish the kid every time. I've got to give them some sort of, amount. I was accused by my husband playing Uno because I'm a strategy. And so when I had the Uno card, and when my, at that time, 6-year-old son was, oh, I know she has red or whatever it was. And I kind of faked like, oh, he knows, when I knew I didn't. I knew I had blue or whatever. And so then he played the blue card and then I won. And Kevin was like, you're evil. And I was like, no, I'm teaching them that you play to what you've got in strategy.
Absolutely. And so with us, it's a bit of a mix of both. I mean, you can't always demolish them, like you said.
Right.
Sometimes, like when we're playing a game like Catan or something like that, I will do an imbalanced trade, or I'll do something imbalanced out of kindness.
Right.
I mentioned that's the purpose. But yeah, we generally strive on if you pull up, you're pulling up to win. My wife actually won both of the last 2 arm wrestling championships for Arizona Beer Week that were put on by the Guild.
Oh, nice.
And that has become quite a rowdy event.
She's an arm wrestling.
Yeah, she gets.
So when I do this to my son, here's what's sad. He actually just looks at me and he points and he laughs. I know.
Gotta start training out arm wrestling.
Demoralizing. Talk about I'm like, hey, look at this, and he just laughs at me. Well, I love it. Props to your wife for being the arm wrestling champion.
Yeah, she's got that example to set, so she's got to family of champions.
Well, so tell me about some obstacles.
Like I said, we've taken some hits in the people that have had to shut down, but we've seen a ton of support in the off-premise. We've kind of re-strategized what our plans are. We're going to do more of our limited availability in packaging rather than draft.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been some challenges, but we did also stop mid-pandemic and start producing sanitizer.
Did you really?
Yeah, we did.
That's amazing, because right now, even though it's still hard to get sanitizer. So, and also for listeners to know, my audience, we have been open since we were allowed to be open, which was May 15th, for services. but we've been doing curbside only. But today we started offering in store. So people can drop off and pick up their dogs in store, but they can also shop in store. But there are restrictions with that. You have to wear a mask, and we have a sanitizing station where we want everyone to sanitize before they come in, and just one person per dog or per family in the store. Because protecting my employees is the first concern that I have. And I think a lot of people don't realize as a business owner what you go through at this time, but my employees are so important. They are so important to my business, and their safety is of utmost importance. And so while a customer, they come in, it's just one of you, but my employees, they're going to see up to 60 customers a day. So how important it is that we ask our customers to do everything they can to help create a safe environment for my employees. So we have X's marked on the floor and only 4 customers in the store at one time, and please wear a mask. And there's nothing political about it. It's just please help to keep our employees safe, because if one of them gets sick, we're a small business, and then another could, and we don't want to have to close down again, but keeping our employees safe is our number one agenda. So anyway, back to making sanitizer. So to buy sanitizer, I mean, it's like $45 to buy a big bulk thing of sanitizer right now. So kudos to you guys for making some sanitizer.
Yeah. We wanted to do it a little earlier, but supply chain's an interesting thing. You don't want to involve yourself in something you're going to make as just a poor business decision. But so we saw the supply chain was hurting. So we got involved in it for that reason, pretty much. We ended up donating quite a bit of it to the Navajo Nation, as they're one of the larger hotbeds.
Oh, hardest hit. Hardest hit.
We donated
for sure.
over 600 gallons. I'd have to double check exactly, but donated quite a bit to them to help them, kind of fight it off. And, we only sold it at enough cost to keep our production staff employed, because producing it we were able to hire back our production staff.
Oh, that's right. What can we do to hire back our staff? Great.
That's where it came from. And we were looking at options, and we actually had taken sanitizer off the table initially because we weren't sure the supply chain issue or like how long that was going to last for anyone. And once it became relevant and pretty much the only option we had to bring back the production staff, we did it. And then we made enough money to keep our lights on, pay them, and then we donated excess where we could. And then we're still producing a little bit of it, but I think that everyone's kind of scaled up at this point. And then
now, I know it's been hard for you guys as a small business in making long-term plans. We're all just taking it week by week. So how can my audience help? Like, what can we do to support Grand Canyon Brewery and Distillery?
Well, it's actually pretty simple these days.
Drink more?
Obviously, there's not a lot of options, so we just stick to the few. And obviously, buying our products always helps support us. If you want to take it a step further, any social engagement is actually a huge part of small branding. So if you like it, tell your friends, share it on your social medias or whatever they are. I'm not on a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so,
well, that's important. I'm glad that you said that, because I think a lot of people don't realize that. I feel like a lot of times in today's climate, if someone's upset with something or they had a bad experience, they're going to share it. But the people who are having good experiences aren't. And so that there's an indiscrepancy there, especially like the Yelp culture. So I love what you said there. For people who you like the product, you've already bought it, awesome. Thank you so much. But on the other hand, share it.
Yeah, the secondary part of it is like, once you like the product, and yeah, back in the day it was like, tell your friends. But in the age of social media, like, we take so many cues from our peers. We take so many, human survival has always been about trusting your in-groups and their preferences. Mm-hmm. And social media has really spotlighted and highlighted all of that. And so one of my favorite things in the world, I just saw on Instagram yesterday, someone went out for a hike and was just like, this is the first time out of the house. This is incredible. And like took a picture and shared it with us. Like, how amazing. Like, and then other people see that and like, they want to go replicate those experiences. Like, experience is the name of the game, right? It's why it's not the summer, I try to go hiking once a week and then go up and drink a beer at the top and take a picture. That's an experience that I look forward to. And I think other people should. And it's something we really try to drive, like, it's harder now, but like camping and kayaking and rafting in your backyard or wherever you can, like, kind
Right.
of engage
Whatever
with
you
nature.
can do.
Yeah, wherever you can. It's going to sound weird in the age of COVID, but I always talk about like gathering communally and gathering and being in community. And those things are still true, but like you were saying before, like, do it with people you trust that are safe and quarantining, or maybe just make plans to do those things when we're, kind of push through this and grab some Grand Canyon products to celebrate it. But yeah.
We've done things like social distance. So like we have a pickup truck, so we can come and park outside, and they stay in the bed of their truck and we stay in the bed of our truck, and we can still visit with each other, and we can still crack open a drink and have that social interaction, but with enough distance that it's safe and it's outside. So it's much less likely to be dangerous. And otherwise we Zoom, which is a new thing during this time, but it's still something where you can do, and you can still have interaction with people, even though you're far apart.
Yeah, I've been doing a Zoom theme drink nights. Like we did an IPA one night, and then we did a favorite cocktail night. It was, yeah, I mean.
Well, I didn't get an invite, Alex, so I'll be waiting for my invite to the next one.
Now that we're best friends, you're going to get all
I know. I'll bring something to the table, Alex.
Perfect.
I will.
Those dog mocktails are perfect.
I mean, come on. Well, Alex, it has been a joy talking to you today. I am so excited that I can buy something that is local, and they've used local farmers to make it. They're using local retailers to sell it. And so instead of just going and getting my White Claw, or the Corona has one out, but Light has one out, but I can buy something, I can choose to make the choice to buy something local and support local that's delicious. So thank you so much for being a part of our Yappy Hour today. And so I want everybody to go support. Tell us your social medias that people can find you on.
Real quick, thank you for all that. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. You can find us on Facebook at / Grand Canyon Brewery, on Instagram at GC Brewery _distilling, and then Twitter at GC Brewing or GC Brewery. Those are kind of where we're hanging out. Instagram and Facebook are where we hang out the most, and just trying to be out in nature. And the brewers are having a lot of silly fun right now during shutdown. So it's a little entertaining and a little educational. So.
All right. Well, thanks again, Alex. It's a pleasure. We'll have to do it again when we're back on our podcast. You'll have to come and talk about whatever's new at that time as well. Okay.
Perfect. Looking forward to it.
I'm Jackie from Smelly Dog. Thank you to everyone who's listening and watching. Everyone, please, during this time, I know it's been an up and a down time, but please stay safe and stay healthy. Enjoy your family, enjoy your dogs, and tune in again next week for our next Yappy Hour.